The Climate Action Strategy is the township's response to the climate emergency, and in part was developed to respond to the priorities of our engaged community. We wanted to ensure that residents were just as much a part of its development and that their priorities were really embedded into the strategy.
Human beings are really putting pressure on our planet, and we can't keep doing it the way we have been. We have to figure out better ways.
Growing up in a farm in Langley, some of the biggest changes we've seen is the climate change and how the weather is so unpredictable, and it's giving farmers difficulties to plan forward, and we're also losing a bit of a yield because of that.
So we are absolutely feeling the effects of climate change right here and now in the Township of Langley. Our summers are getting hotter and drier. We're seeing the effects of wildfire smoke and air quality warnings. In the winter, we're seeing increased precipitation, more extreme weather events like flooding, and we know that these effects are going to continue increasing unless local governments find a way to adapt and create more resilient communities, as well as, on a global scale, we really increase our mitigation efforts and reduce greenhouse gases so that we can stop the cascading effects of climate change. So the Climate Action Strategy has greenhouse gas emission reduction targets of 45% by the year 2030 and 100% by the year 2050. The Climate Action Strategy is centered around 5 big moves, which will give us more specific pathways as to how to reach our targets.
The local government needs to have a multimodal infrastructure so people have options. So rather than taking the car, they can walk, they can take a bike, they can take the bus.
What it'll take to get people out of their cars will have to be making transit more accessible. I can't get to school by bus from my house.
Parents are actually pretty worried sometimes, as well as students, on the safety of the sidewalks, as well as any bike lanes.
So our first big move is around safe and sustainable transportation. We're looking to convert over 50% of current trips in Langley to sustainable modes of mobility. We are expanding our EV charging network. We're accelerating sidewalk and cycling infrastructure so that community members can walk and cycle safely to their destinations. We're also advocating for more frequent and better transit in our community, as well as accessibility to transit stops.
Our homes today in BC can be retrofitted in many ways in order to support our climate.
So Big Moves 2 and 3 are all about greening our buildings. By 2030, all new buildings in the community will produce zero emissions. So this is really done by moving away from fossil fuels and towards cleaner electricity, and by ensuring all our new buildings are as efficient as possible. So for existing buildings, this means that all new hot water and heating system replacements will be zero emissions by 2030. As an example, if a homeowner's furnace is up for replacement, we would hope that they would consider alternatives like a low carbon heat pump, which also provides cooling, which is an added resiliency benefit to our warming climate here in Langley. And in the building sector, we've been working very hard, bringing on programs and policy to help create this sector to be more sustainable, like adopting the BC Energy Step Code, as well as green building policies that look to reduce emissions in new as well as existing buildings, even bringing in programs that offer rebates and education to existing building owners or homeowners on switching over to more low carbon technologies.
All change starts somewhere, even if it's small. And if we change, and we make more eco-friendly decisions, then people around us will notice and they'll decide to make more eco-friendly decisions.
Yeah, so big move number 4 is really where the township as an organization hopes to demonstrate leadership. We want to ensure that our corporate buildings, as well as our large fleet of work vehicles, are zero emissions by 2040. So to make progress, we're expanding our fleet vehicles to be transitioned over to EVs, as well as any new facilities that we build, we have a sustainable mindset. As an example, our new Alder Grove Credit Union Community Center utilizes a state-of-the-art water filtration system, which actually cleans and then reuses the water from the outdoor water park.
I envision a community of green spaces whereby we have up to 50% of a tree canopy.
Well, I think obviously we live in a beautiful area, and how do we preserve it? How do we sustain this beautiful place? We don't want to turn it all into a bunch of pavement and concrete.
So big move number 5 is around ensuring resilient natural systems. The township is known for its abundance of beautiful natural areas, and these areas also provide extreme benefits to our community, like stormwater management, clean drinking water. They reduce the urban heat island effect, and obviously providing habitat for wildlife and different areas of biodiversity. And so big move number 5 is really looking to increase our tree canopy to continue allowing for shade and cooling in the summer, as well as increasing the amount of rainwater that's absorbed by the soil and returned to our aquifers. We've been investing in green infrastructure like rain gardens in our new developments. We're also currently evaluating all of our natural assets, things like riparian areas, wetlands, detention ponds, to ensure that they are functioning as efficiently and effectively as possible, and ensuring that we are maintaining these assets to ensure that they can be preserved throughout their life. So in total, the strategy has over 149 actions to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and to help us adapt to our changing climate. We do feel that, working together to support climate action, that we can ensure a sustainable, resilient, and livable community. It's never been more important than now that we take strong action on climate change.